Welcome to Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. We are back in action with another solo episode. And before we get into it, because we're going to get into it today, all right, I'm hopped up. I'm ready to go. I got a good message for you guys. Like we always ask you to do, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please go to YouTube, subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't care where you go. All platforms would be great. But most importantly, give us a review and let us know what we can do better, how Champ Talk has impacted your life. You know, if you know somebody who would get value of this, share it with them. You know, please just give us some feedback. It helps us get better, and that's what we're constantly doing. But look, we're going to get right at it. I'm coming right at y'all's neck today. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go from my heart because I haven't really done one of these kind of podcasts in a while, right? And I'm going to try to motivate you here, okay? That's my mission, is to get your fucking ass in the game, okay? Guys, you have to get in the game, all right? Sitting around waiting for the right perfect moment, for the right perfect thing to line up right perfectly, and all perfect is the most perfect bullshit plan that you can ever fucking have, okay? And I'm going to try to refrain from dropping the F-bomb so many times because I'm trying to do a better job of being a little bit more less ghetto, okay, per what my mother says about me. But I emphasize this point and this fact that, yo, it's not going to be the right situation. You got to get in the game, man. You hear people like Ocean City, for instance. I'm gonna shit on them a little bit, and I'm not trying to shit on nobody, but it's going to sound like it. You know, Ocean City, Maryland is a wonderful town. I love it. It's a tourist attraction, family resorts, all that good stuff. You know, and you've got basically a bunch of people that have gotten into the service industry, whether they're waited tables or they bartended or whatever. And I'm sure this isn't just limited to Ocean City. I'm sure this is limited. This goes to every place that, you know, every city or whatever. But at the end of the day, Ocean City is the most one I can really come into connection with because I've known so many people who's worked there. And since I've been graduated, I've been graduated for over 20 years now, 25 actually. I've had so many people that would work in Ocean City over the summertime because you make a bunch of money. The way it works is basically you can work for, you know, 5-6 months out of the summer, right? From like Memorial Day or a little bit before to a little bit after Labor Day. And you can go ahead and make enough money where you can collect unemployment and it'll coast you through the year. And everybody has, you know, these plans. And this isn't to everybody. I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but I want to keep it real. Anybody who feels like I'm shitting on you, you know the person I'm talking about. They would sit here and they would do this summer after summer after summer after summer, and they would do the same thing. And what they would say is like, yeah, I can't wait to get that degree, or I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to do this. And the next thing you know, you wake up 10, 15, 20 years later, and you're still saying that I'm gonna. You're still sitting at the same bar. It happens downtown as well, downtown Salisbury. It happens in Ocean City. So many people want to sit around and say, I'm gonna. They get lost in the everyday, and they're waiting for the perfect moment to go chase their dreams or go chase their new venture. There's not a perfect moment, right? Obviously, you want to do things as calculated as possible. You know, obviously, you want to have a plan. You don't want to go just willy-nilly in it like I've done so many times in my life. But at the end of the day, if you're waiting for the time to be right, you're going to be waiting 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And you're going to wake up one day and your life's going to pass you. And you're going to wish that you would have got started and just got into the game. Investing is the same way, okay? Everybody talks about when they want to get in investing and when they want to buy a house and when they want to open up stocks and all these things, and they don't know where to start. And everybody's so worried about losing money. You don't lose money that you don't play with. And you don't know how to do it until you get into the game. There is not a perfect time. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today, okay? That's the next best time. You know, let's talk about weight loss. Let's talk about fitness. Let's talk about anything you want to talk about. Anything you want to put your mind to. There is not a perfect time to take action. You are wasting your life hoping that there's going to be some opportunity that's going to drop out of the sky and fall in your lap. And I'm going to tell you something even more disheartening, excuse me. When you're in your teens, you're still looked at as a kid, right? You're still looked at as a teenager, as a kid, young, and whatever. And even in your 20s, people look at you like that. And older people are willing to bet on you. They're willing to give you an opportunity, to give you a chance, because they see something of themselves that they see in you, right? And they know that you're probably limited on your opportunities and limited on, you know, the resources that you have to go out here and make something. And a lot of people will believe in you before you even know how to believe in yourself and give you an opportunity to make something of yourself, right? And that'll carry you sometimes in your 30s as well. Because in your 30s, you're still you're old enough to know better, but young enough to still go get it. You know what I mean? And I think in the 40s as well. But in your 30s, you're still, you're a man, you're a woman, you're a legitimate, you've got some time under your belt as being an adult. But people will still give you that chance and give you that hookup and bring you on board because they know where you're at in your life. Now, when you start pushing 40, 50, 60, those opportunities don't come as often. You're expected to know shit. I sometimes forget myself, right? I sometimes forget myself because I'm surrounded by so many young people in different ages and credence and all that stuff. I don't even know if credence is a word, but we're going to use it today. I'm surrounded by so many different people where I forget that I'm not in my 20s and 30s when I'm talking to these folks, right? I forget what I look like in the mirror. I forget that I'm a 44-year-old grandfather, a father, seasoned man who's been nobody gives a fuck about my story anymore. Nobody gives a fuck about the jail cell sentence where, I had to overcome adversity, or back in the day when I was hustling. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about my titles I won 5 years ago or 6 years ago. We're beyond that, Brandon. And I forget this because I'm 45 years old. I'm pushing 45 years old. I'm supposed to have it together. I'm supposed to have my life right. I'm not supposed to be out here talking the same language as 20s and 30-year-olds because I'm supposed to already have my situation together. And I'm not trying to say that I need a hookup or anything. And to the people that have helped me, thank you. I love y'all. You know who you are. What I'm trying to explain to you is when you start crossing that threshold at the middle-aged, man or woman, your fucking homeboy hookups are done. You need to go out here and make sure you're getting it yourself. You need to make sure you're going out here and giving it to the people that you care about, people you love. So there's never a good time to jump into the game. There's never a good time to make a new change. And you're going to watch your life just pass you by so quickly because you're waiting for some big aha moment or all the stars to line up in the right way. And it's just not reality, bro. That's just not reality. That's just not how the way things work. We got to go out here and get it while we can. And what we were going out here and getting it with, the opportunities that we had yesterday are not necessarily going to be the same opportunities that we're going to have today or tomorrow. Life changes, seasons change, things change, the hearts of men change. There's so many ways that life pivots and comes at you, so many different things that can happen to knock you off course of your original plan. The market changes. There's so many elements to life. We get so stuck on thinking that the life is going to be the way it's designed when I first start. My plan is going to be exactly this way, and it's not going to go any other way. And so that's why a lot of business owners struggle to pivot when the market changes, or a lot of relationships struggle. I'm not going to give relationship advice, but I'm going to say a lot of relationships struggle because the honeymoon phase is over, and now the real work begins, and the real timing begins, and they don't know how to pivot, and the egos get involved. So many different examples in industries. I'm trying to generalize as much as I can and not just be so specific to my life. But if you're not ready to pivot, if you're not ready to adjust, to move when the seasons change, you're going to get stale and get left behind. And you got to have that understanding when you're trying to get into the game, no matter what game that is, that, hey, this plan is going to be here and it's going to be all the way over in left field, crooked, upside down, backwards, forwards, in every direction you can think of, away from my original plans. It's going to be something different. And I don't believe in judging things either. I don't believe in judging per se, whether things are good or whether things are bad, right? I think things are favorable and unfavorable. I think things just are, okay? I don't think things are good or things are bad because now I'm putting my judge on it because another man's treasure is another man's trash, right? I think things are favorable and I think things are unfavorable. What I do know is either way, no matter what the conditions those things may be per se, those things lead you to other opportunities, other doors, and things that you would not even seen had you not went through the trial by fire. Had you not had that triumphant moment, had you not had to go through what you had to go through to get where you're going to be. You see what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, we spend so much time judging what happens to us and why it's this and why it's that and what happened, what shouldn't happen, all these things. But and again, limits our plan of action, limits us from moving forward to the next level, or to even getting into the game, like I keep saying, or even starting whatever. And next thing you know, we're still sitting back, twiddling our thumbs, talking about I'm gonna do it. Just like those same people sitting in that bar for 15, 20 years about, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to change this. We should do this. I got a good idea. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. And I'm seeing so many people caught up in that space. I'm also seeing so many young people without purpose. So many people are sitting here, young people are sitting here, and I'm going to even go up to in your 30s, right? I'm going to say even in your 30s, I'm seeing so many people just sitting here lacking purpose. You're lost. You're a lost society. You're a lost souls. I'm not shitting on you. I love you. I want to help you, okay? I want to help you. You know, we just had this shooting that just happened last week in I believe it was Minnesota. And, you know, there's an alarming number of these shootings nowadays. The data is revealing that an alarming number of trans people are committing these shootings, more so than whites and blacks and Hispanics and so forth. And there's the manifesto that this person wrote was, you know, how unfortunate, how miserable, how unhappy, and this is per the YouTube, so I'm just reading, you know, things that were on there, that this person was being trans. Not that they wanted to be a you know, a male or a female. They wanted that, but the way that they went about it was a way that they wish they'd never had done it, per their manifesto. And I am not anti-trans movement by no means. I have a couple of friends that are trans. You know what I mean? Great people. What I am anti is I'm anti if, you know, people putting people in a box and saying, hey, you're this and you're that, and not giving them help if they're seeking or they want it, they need it. Okay? Fuck all of your opinions and the biasness and things like that, right? That's not, in my opinion, that's not for me to say what's right or what's wrong. Now, what is right is when you start violating other people's rights, like shooting schools up or hurting children or hurting others. Yes, that is wrong. But if you want to be what you want to be, go be what you want to be, right? I want you happy. And I bring that up because that's another example of like our youths, you know, that are just feeling like so alone and so purposeless, right? And it's alarming. These statistics are alarming because just like the trans shootings, right? And again, I want to be clear. I am not anti-trans, okay? I am not anti-anybody. The data says that there's a problem. The data says that somewhere along the line, somebody needs help. You know what I mean? Someone is crying for help, and somewhere along the line, they feel that there's not a resource out there to help them. And I blend that in with how many young people are just out here just running at a rate that they've never ran before, just needing help, needing purpose, needing somebody or something to help them see that they are appreciated and are loved and are this. You know, the things about these movements been going on from the beginning of time. You know, men been dressing up like women since the Roman days, you know what I mean? Vice versa, right? This is nothing new here, guys. This is just a new thing that we could create some sort of difference and distinction and decisiveness. This ain't nothing new, right? People are people, man. We're going to do people things, and we're going to do things that other people don't agree with. That's just the way it is. But when people are hurting and screaming but careful with that too. And I want to disclaim this, not the victimhood shit. You know, I'm anti-victimhood shit. I'm just talking about feeling like they're alone and they don't have purpose. That's another way of people being prohibited to go out here and get into the game and make the change. Because if you young people are feeling like you are alone and hurting, or trans people, or gay people, or straight people, or white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, I don't know who the fuck, people, if you're feeling like you're hurting and you're alone, that could be holding you back from taking action. That could be holding you back from wanting to find purpose, okay? Again, these things aren't going to come out of the sky and just automatically say, here's your purpose. Here's your gift. Here's the thing you were meant to do. You've got to get in the game. You got to do some things that you don't want to do, and you got to do it right away. You got to get with some people that are not you and that aren't saying the same thing that you're saying, or saying different things than you, so that you can get some different perspective. If everybody's agreeing with you and everybody's telling you the same shit, you're never going to be able to level up in that. You got a bunch of yes ma'ams and yes men around you. You need people that give you a different perspective in a trusted, conducive way. And here's the thing: is if you're not getting the trusted, conducive way, or somebody doesn't agree with you, and that hurts your fucking feelings. Sorry about your fucking luck, dude. Like, welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. I mean, not everybody agrees with me. Look, we just had this damn tournament, right? We just did great this tournament we talked about last week. All these great things. Man, I get Sunday night, some motherfucking hater hitting me up like, I want to fight you. I want to call you out. An old coach, you know what I mean? I admired and loved, right? Still do, still love, but can't fuck with him. Oh man, you this, you that, I needed a person. I needed somebody want to help me when I was down. Motherfucker, we helped you when you were down. I reached out when you were down. I asked many times when you were down. I kept coming for you when you were down. You started isolating yourself. So when you're hearing things that people that you don't want to hear, and you start isolating yourself, not him, but the people I'm talking to, then you're hurting yourself from growing. You're hurting yourself from taking action. You're hurting yourself from getting into the game. You're hurting yourself from finding your purpose. You see how all this works together? It all feeds each other. There's not just one path of success or happiness or fulfillment or duties. It all feeds each other. If you're waiting for like the clouds to open up and tell you, hey, here it is. I'm God. I'm blessing you with your divine purpose right now. Here you go. Wake up, son or daughter or whatever. You're never going to see that. I'll give you guys a little story, right? So when I got locked up, I was as arrogant and as conceited as any other drug dealer, big time drug dealer, thinking that they're going to get away with shit, right? So basically, and I'm good. The laws of the statute of limitations is beyond it, so I'm good. Okay, I can say this freely now. But basically, I thought I had this whole plan worked out that when I got locked up, right? So I didn't change my life when I got arrested, or that whole 6 months when I started spiraling out of control, right? No, I didn't change my life then, right? I changed my life when everything got taken away from me and snatched up. And I don't recommend that way. Don't do that shit. But some of us are hard-headed like myself, and you're gonna have to do that. So when I was preparing to go to jail, right? You know what I mean? My cousin had offered to help me out with, give me a position to help him out and help me out with, the shoe store, right? But little did he know that I had other plans on the low that I didn't share with him or anybody else. I'm sharing this for the first time. Basically what I did was I gave my phone to my right-hand man, and my other connector, my right-hand man, they were able to make plays while I was in jail. Because, us drug dealers are so smart. That's why we're in jail, right? And what I would do is I would, take my sneakers and take my opportunity. And I'd go work on work release, you know what I mean, at a buddy's restaurant where we had invested interests between the restaurant and the shoe store. And I just go back and forth. So 3 days a week, I'm at this bar on work release, as a bouncer, with this arrogance, you know what I mean? I remember vividly, I had like 2 girls on one side. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing really bad time, right? Being fucking cocky and conceited as I've ever been. And I do that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? Late night, come into the jail and work release around 3 o'clock in the morning. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd go down to my shoe store because we had an invested interest and work that, from like, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. during the daytime, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? You don't come out on Sundays. So I thought I had it all figured out, right? And then I'm thinking about, like, as I'm in there, I'm making plays off the points off the pack. I still had a little bit of money here. I still had this. I still had that. I was doing all these things, and I didn't have to touch nothing. Big, smart drug dealer I was, right? And boom, 2 weeks into my bid, my fiance at the time decides she's done. Blindsided me. Decides she was done. Broke my heart. Cool. So now I'm in jail with a broken heart, and my plan, where she was just supposed to take care of our house and be there for the kids, went to shit. Boom, next thing you know, my cousin, he jumps in there, and he was on his grind, and so he was staying there, right? So cool. So now I got another man living in my home, sleeping in my bed, doing things, and props to him, thankful to him, But at the same time, I have another man living in my home. My kids are there while my cousin's there. Like, I don't know about you, but that's just a little, that's just not great, right? 3 months in, I get knocked off a work release. Okay. Now, when I started, I was in there, I started reading the Bible when I was on work release, but I was only getting through a couple chapters a night, right? Because I got shit to do. I got to go work at a bar and, gallivant around and be Mr. Cool Guy. I got to go sit there and work at my own shoe shop, excuse me, and be Mr. Business owner. And, I got all this shit to do, right? Blah, 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 blah. So I ain't got time to sit down and read the Bible, right? So anyway, 3 months later, I know how to do this, right? I've been in the shadows for 18 years. I know how to hide and blend in. I thought I was playing in between the lines, but again, drug dealers are so smart. We're so ahead of everything. I thought I was playing in between the lines. The local newspaper does a story on us, right? And here, me and my cousin are front page. I'm a fucking inmate with 2 sneakers in my hand about this new shoe store that opened up downtown. Blah blah blah. Blah. When the people over there at the jail saw that shit, they snatched me on work release fashion. I could blink an eye. Put me back on. Put me in this. What was it called? High profile. You know what I mean? Where all the big guys were. You know what I mean? They got like these big crimes and things like that. Pod, right? It's like 7 of us, right? And I'm sitting in this motherfucker locked up like all day, all night. Like you don't get no movement, whatever. And here I am. Now all of a sudden, me and my cousin really quickly have a fallout. I'm hearing that my ex is visiting my kids and everybody's cool. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have all these things. All of a sudden I'm not making money off the pack anymore because I don't know what's going on. All of these things that I thought I had in so much control, right? I thought I had this shit so locked down and so much in control that I knew what was going on and I had it all. And I just big boy Branden that can make all these fucking plays from inside of jail. And I remember vividly, I was on that pod for 23, 7, 21, something like that days. And I had enough time to read the Bible then. And I never read the Bible. I'm not going to get all religious on you. I'm going to get real with you. I never read the Bible. So I'm reading it, getting through all them boring-ass fucking chapters of Numbers and Leviticus. There's some rough books in the beginning. But you get to some good stories. You get to stories you knew. And stuff's making sense. When we finally get to the New Testament. The New Testament is where Jesus spoke, okay? That's where, that was his accords, his disciples and things like that. And I'm reading that, and I remember this vividly. The night before, I'm on the phone, and I go off on my cousin. I mean, I talk to him just as disrespectful as you can talk to anybody in the world. And unfortunately, disrespect in that kind of world is prevalent in my family. We were very disrespectful, verbally disrespectful family. We've had our moments. We've done a lot better in here now, but we had our moments. And we weren't strangers to having, our loved ones or family members call from prison and yell and shout and scream and all that. But either way, I was about as disrespectful as you could be. Cussing them, went off. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Slam the phone, get locked down. For some reason, I wake up early in the morning, way before count, right? You count, breakfast, I think was like at 6 o'clock. So I'm up at like 5:15. Can't sleep, just looking at the fucking bunk, right? I'm by myself. I start reading the Bible. And I get to this book where basically the way that I interpret it is that a rich man that came to Jesus and said, hey, Jesus, how do I get in heaven? And Jesus looked at him and said, get rid of all your stuff and just follow me. Like, you just come on, leave all behind. And the rich man was like, what? I mean, I got donkey, I got sheep, I got wids, I guess that was a lot rich back then. And the way I interpreted this parable is he said, basically, Jesus was like, how dare you disrespect me? You say you believe in my divine intervention, my divine wisdom, but yet you're questioning what I'm telling you to do to get where you want to be and where I promise you to be. And I don't know what the fuck hit me so hard that morning. But I still vividly remember. It gets me every time, dude. Every time I tell the story, I vividly remember that moment. And it still affects me to this day, almost 11 years later. I just broke down, bro. I wept harder than I've ever wept before. And you got to kind of be quiet because you don't want to be a bitch in jail. But I'm like, and I got on my knees, dude. I got on my hands and knees and I just prayed, man. And I just said, God, I don't want to be bad anymore. I'm hurting. My life is out of control. I just don't want to be bad anymore. I just don't want to do it. I'm not going back to the game. You know, I had all these elaborate plans to go back to the game and just be a smarter drug dealer. You know what I mean? I saw no self-worth in myself. I didn't think that I could be anything better or do anything more than what I was. I didn't have any great skills other than, you know, be able to talk and shit. But now I'm a convicted felon. What is that going to do? But I got on my hands and knees. I said, please, Lord, just help me. I don't want to be bad anymore. And here's the point that I'm getting at. I didn't hear a fucking word from God. He didn't open up the skies. He didn't tell me, Branden, thank you. He didn't, people say they hear God talk all the time. I've never heard it. I'm still waiting for him to talk. Never. But he nudged me and he would prove to me that he had my back. Now, I'm not trying to go down this religious thing with you. That's what I need to anchor me to make me a good person. You might need something differently. I strongly suggest faith. Faith is a great anchor. But he would nudge me and show me things that he had my back. Like, for instance, I would be in a cell and I would, or I would be on the phone and I would get like something that I would hear was going on outside with my kids or my ex-wife or whatever. And I would pray for that to happen. I needed something. And all of a sudden, the minute we go locked down at 2, from 2 to 4, we get out. Next thing you know, boom, that thing would happen. The person would walk in my door or something would come to fruition. I had all these plans of where I wanted to do this and do that, right? I had these schemes, man. I had these little schemes where I was going to sell this and not drugs. But after I had said I wasn't going to do drugs, I was like, all right, well, I just did not think that it was possible that I could make my own money and be my own successful person with the amount of mountains that I had to climb, right? But I was looking at it from an angle of, okay, well, here we go. You know, if I sell this jewelry and I sell these shoes and I get rid of this and I do this and I could blah, 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 and none of it, some of it was illegal. Some of it was not necessarily the right thing to do, but I was still thinking like that. I'd have moments where God would hit me, like right in my mouth, like, you stupid motherfucker. This is why I'm not letting you out, because you think you're ready to get out, because I was trying to get out. So the whole time that I know I'm jumping around, track with me. The whole time that I'm on work, that I got taken off work release, I went up for parole and I got denied my parole. Well, my guidelines said there's no reason why I shouldn't have gotten out. But that ticket that I got on work release was the reason why they denied me, right? And if you know anything about the jail systems and the public fucking prison systems, you know what I mean? They make money off beds. It's a private owned fucking business. So anyway, but I could put up an appeal. Well, the appeal takes a month. Well, then the paperwork got lost that first month, so I had to wait another month. And then the paperwork got, something was wrong there, and I had to wait another month. So what happened was, where I had these plans to be out of jail in 5 months on my year-long sentence, I ended up being dragged out. You go up for parole, I think in 3.5 months. So it was drug out from 3.5 months to 4.5 months to 5.5 months, finally to 6 months. I said, let me just do my 8 months and get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck about your parole. I don't want no backup time. Just let me get the fuck up out of here. But I was ready to come home, and God kept saying, no, you're not ready. You're not ready. You need to sit your ass down a little bit longer, because you still got this scheme. You still got this plan. You say you're following my path, but yet you want to do everything Branden's way. And look how doing it Branden's way has fucking helped you. What's my point? My point is, had I not just surrendered to the process and got into the fucking game and just did what I said I was going to do, I would have never understood that I was supposed to be here talking to you today. I would have never understood that I was supposed to be here fighting in a fucking cage to fucking earn my credibility, to open up a gym, to help motherfuckers' lives, and to help people, to get into an opportunity with a good friend of mine in real estate, where I could go do things with him and learn things about real estate and business, and then go do other big things and speak on stages and all these great accolades that you can say, Branden did this. No, Branden just got into the game. The plans were none of this, folks. And the purpose was not revealed to me until about 4 or 5 years ago. This isn't something that I just magically thought of. If you look at every bit of my credentials, if you look at me as a person, if you strip it down to the core barriers, I'm not supposed to be here. This isn't my play. But I surrendered to the process. I surrendered to my higher power. I surrendered to my own ego, and I just got into the game. And that's what helped me find purpose. So when you're struggling out there, young people, or even a little bit of anybody for that matter, or if you're hurting, trans people, or anybody, young people, or anybody for that matter, You got to run from you got to relinquish your ego, and you got to get in the game. You got to find ways to get uncomfortable and ask for help, and get around. I mean, this whole podcast, not this episode, the whole design of the podcast is about just going and betting on yourself. You're beautiful the way you are. No matter what you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to go. That's what makes this world beautiful. That's what makes community. You're beautiful who you are. Anybody want to judge somebody for their preferences? I want to see their skeletons. I want to see what they got in their closets. You know what I mean? I want to see what they like to do behind closed doors that they think nobody knows. Because what you do in the dark comes to the light. It always does. It's not a big secret. You can't get away with shit that you think you're getting away with. It's going to come out. But anybody judging somebody for being different or following what they want to do, look, I'm not the one to sit here and tell you how to live your life. I got some non-negotiables. All right? I got non-negotiables. Look, there's things about me, right, that people will not like. But we could talk about that in person. Or you could just not like it. But I got my non-negotiables. We don't fuck with the kids. You leave them kids alone. No matter what you do, where you go, you leave them kids alone. You let them kids be kids. We protect these kids. We protect our women. If you are a woman, you hold it down for your man or your partner. But no matter who you are, you protect these women. And you live unapologetic. But that don't mean you can be a victim. And that don't mean you get the right to sit here and say, my feelings are hurt, so I'm not going to do this or do that. It doesn't mean we should be over-medicating each other. You know, like, look, if you need to get on medicine, that's one thing. You need to get off the medicine. Unless you've got some sort of major schizophrenia, psychoanalysis, your goal should be to try to get off the medicine because you're finding ways to cope. Nature will give it all to us. Those are the things that are going to help you get into the game. Those are the things that are going to help you find your purpose. And I can promise you this, is with my 44 and a half years of existence on this earth, your gift and your purpose is needed for this world. We need your gift and your purpose more than anything else. But you're not going to find it sitting on the sideline waiting for every fucking thing to get right. It just ain't going to happen. You know, it took me way before getting in trouble to decide to want to lose weight. And through a series of failures, I failed at going to the gym on my own. I failed at having a personal trainer. I failed at going to a friend's home gym. I failed at all these different things where finally I found that a friend of mine was doing combat sports, was doing MMA in the back of his home. His house had a converted home dojo. It was small, it was little, it was hot, it was cold. It was our place. We got busy. It took me to find that place to lose weight and take action and get my ass kicked every day and not be able to fucking walk home some nights for me to realize that was the beginning spark of the wildfire of this machine of Branden Hudson. I didn't know that this was going to be where we're at. I didn't think dude, when I fought in stellar fights, right? I started fighting at 30 years old. I had no combat sports background. I literally told Brad, we'll have Brad on the podcast. You can ask him one day. I literally told Brad every fight, I got to fight the best because I'm running out of time. That's the way that I viewed my career as a combat sports and mixed martial artist. I was running out of time. So I didn't get these walkover fights in the beginning or padded fights. I got like some of the best guys that you could get right away. Some of them were 0-0 and 0-1 and 1-0, but that was because they were still really good matchups. And it was even now looking at it from the bird's eye view. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it was. But I fought purple belts. I fought badasses. Like, dude, I was fighting these guys and I was no belt, no badass. I was just, putting on a good show. But I thought that I had to do this so fast because my time was running out. I never thought that this was going to be a career or a lifestyle for that matter. Right? So I got into the game fighting and going the hardest route possible, but that was what pushed me in that level of uncomfort to be able to keep surpassing that and moving that benchmark. You know, every mountain I would climb, I'd be at the top of the next mountain looking over. Hey, I bet you I can climb that one. And it created something more. And then, you know, you had the confliction of that life, the other life I was living, and then me wanting to, you know, be better, but not being able to be better, and then getting locked up. Don't get locked up and go to jail and fucking have those situations, or have anything detrimental happen to you to wake you up and make you want to make a change. I'm not recommending that. You know, a lot of reason why I don't talk about my my history is because I don't want these fucking kids to think that I'm like the success story. There is way more people dead, locked up, and in prison, or strung out, than there is people like me that made it through. I am an anomaly. I've been touched by God. That's the only way I can explain why I'm here talking to you today. I don't want to sit here and talk about my past and make that my main focal point. You know, that was a major story in my book for a long time, but now we're beyond that. Right? We're way beyond that, right? That was just a little catapult, a little bit of motivation to get me to move. But again, I don't want people to get the misunderstanding or misconception to think that that is what you can do. You can be a fuck up and then you could just grace. But no. I've lost more than I've gained in that game. I've lost more than I gained. No bullshit. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I ain't gonna get into that. So I don't want that to be the story, right? I want the story to be what I'm writing today. You know what I mean? It's how much we keep going after it and moving the goalposts and pushing ourselves past uncomfort. But you guys got to get in the game. You got to stop sitting on the sideline waiting for this I don't even know how to say it. You got to stop waiting for the signs. The sign you're not able to see the signs right now. When you're not in the game and you're not really looking for it, you're not able to see them. They're all there. It's no different you buying that red pickup truck, and as soon as you drive off the dealership, you see red pickup trucks of the same model all over the place. They've been there the whole time. It's the fact of the matter is you're not in a space where you can push your mind to see that because you're sitting back waiting for the sign, waiting for somebody to show something, waiting for somebody to open up. And here's another thing, young people and people that are hurting. If you've got people extending their hand, like I had with my coach, I extended my hand with him so much. I tried to help him so much, right? I wanted to be there for him so much. It hurt me in my heart when we couldn't do that. It hurts me in the heart that he talks to me the way he does, right? It's okay. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, when people extend their hand to help or they extend their hand to give you an opportunity, fucking take it. Leave your ego at home. Fucking take it. That opportunity for you is a crutch, not a wheelchair. It's a crutch. It's a way for you to get back on your feet. It's a way for you to run faster, jump higher, do bigger and better things in your life. It's not a wheelchair. It's not a permanent residence. Somebody's giving you an opportunity. You make sure you take full advantage of it. You make sure they're proud and happy that they got that opportunity. Somebody sits here and gives you some help or extends their hand, you say, yes, I need the help and thank you. And you use their help, even if you don't like the methods, because you were the one that was offered help and you accepted it. You don't get to choose how you get helped. You take what you can get. So I know I ran into this podcast, but you know what I mean? I wanted to go in on it. I wanted to let you guys know where it was and where we are. And I wanted you guys to know that you got to get in the fucking game. You're not alone. You got to get in the game. You got to start your journey now. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is right now. We do not know what tomorrow lies. We lost a lot of good people this year, man. If you're from Salisbury or you're from the Eastern Shore, you know what I'm talking about. We've lost a lot of good people this year, man. A lot. Seems like it was one of those years where we got hit hard with people dying. And I hate for any of you guys to sit here and wake up too late saying, I wish I would have done more. Guys, if you get value from this episode, or you know somebody was, share this to them. Let them know how much I love them, how much we care about them. And if you could, leave a review. That would mean the world to me. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Until next time, guys, what are you doing today to become a champion?